What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday. In today's video, I'm excited, but I'm also a little bit nervous. I'm going to be trying a new strength program that is dropped on Peloton. It is Strength for Cyclists, and it's a 1-week strength program by my boy, Ben Alldis, which I absolutely love Ben on the bike, but his strength content for me has always been kind of a miss. So I'm interested to see how I like this program. I do like that it's going to focus on cycling strength. I don't ride the Peloton indoors that much anymore just because I don't have access to a bike here, but I do ride outdoors every single week, usually multiple times a week. So I am excited to do some strength that's focused on that. The description is boost your performance with the Strength for Cyclists program. Build power, endurance, and stability through targeted workouts to improve posture, increase pedal efficiency, and help gain the extra strength to crush every ride. And it is only 3 days, and each day is a 20-minute strength workout followed by a 10-minute stretch. And although I don't love Ben for strength, I absolutely love him for stretch. Like, he is definitely my #1 stretching instructor. So I know I will at least enjoy the stretch. And I also don't prioritize stretching as much. So it's good that it's like actually programmed in, like I will be doing these stretches because they are programmed. So today is day 1 and we got 2 classes. Class 1 is a 20-minute lower body and core strength class. The description is starting strong with a 20-minute lower body and core workout. Firing up those glutes, hamstrings, quads, and core to increase your strength endurance, boost your pedal power and stability both in and out of the saddle. So we'll see. I also definitely need to work on my core at all times. So anything with a dedicated core section, sign me up. Even though I won't love it going through it, I do know I need it. And then class 2 today is a 10-minute stretch for cyclists. The description is, don't forget the secret sauce to the program, a 10-minute stretch. Tagging a full body stretch at the end of each workout will unlock new levels of mobility and flexibility that will improve your recovery. So I think I'll enjoy that one. And it's been a hot sec since I've taken a class with Ben, so it will be nice to see him. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out the first 2 classes in this program. I'm not going to sit here and be like, that was the most amazing, revolutionary strength class I've ever taken. But I did enjoy it. And especially for Ben, like, I have pretty low expectations. I usually don't like his classes that much, but I enjoyed this one. I thought it was like pretty well laid out. I feel like, 20 minutes really does fly by, but we got a good amount of work in. We started off, we had a 3-minute bodyweight warm-up. That was good, no complaints there. Then we moved into our first lower body block, and this was the only weighted work of the class. I liked that it was at the beginning, and he said to grab heavy weights. I grabbed 25 pounds, which I think is the right weight because you don't get a lot of recovery. The structure was 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. And we did deadlifts and then reverse lunge on one side, reverse lunge on the other side, and then finished off with a goblet squat. And honestly, the goblet squat was nice because I felt my grip strength going by the time that we got to the goblet squat. So it was definitely nice to only hold one dumbbell then and to have it in a different position. But I thought that that was a good little set. We had a 30-second rest and then we did it again. And yeah, I mean, we got the work in. I really like deadlifts, so that helps. Reverse lunges, I'm okay with. Goblet squats, I'm okay with. But I liked that we pushed heavy weight at the beginning of the class. And that took up a decent chunk of time, right? Like, that took up 8 minutes of the class. So we're already cruising through. Then we did some bodyweight leg work, which I thought I wouldn't be a fan of, but I actually was. For the bodyweight section, we did 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off, and we only did it once. We did a slow bodyweight squat first, so like going down slowly, holding at the bottom, and then coming up. Then we got into the real kicker of the bodyweight section, in my opinion, which was a pulsing split squat. Definitely not my favorite move, but I can appreciate, I always feel a burn on this one, even when it's body weight. So we did that on one side and then we did it on the other side. And yeah, this is probably where I felt the burn the most in the entire class. I definitely need to work on those. So I like that that was programmed in. And then we finished off with some squats where then we went up on our tippy toes when we came up. So kind of like a modified jump squat. I hate jump squats, but I like these calf raise squats. So really no complaints. Felt like that was a good little finisher for the bodyweight section. Then we got into the core section. At this point, there was only like 4 minutes left of class. So we had to go through the moves. We had 40 seconds on, 10 seconds off, which I'm fine with, little recovery for core. And I like this section because I feel like he gave very simple moves, like very basic core moves, but then he also gave modifications if you wanted to make it harder if you're like repeating this program, which I took the harder modifications because I do feel like some of the moves were a little simple, but I like it. Like I feel like this class in general was pretty beginner accessible, which was his intention. So it's good. It's like good for all levels. So we started off with the high plank, and then he's like, if you want to add something, you can lift one leg up at a time. Then we did a dead bug. Then we did a Russian twist. We did a hollow body, which, man, oh man, that's like, I need to take the modification to make it easier. Hollow bodies are definitely my like weakest core move. And then we finished off with forearm side planks on one side. And then he's like, you can add a hip dip if you want. And then forearm side plank on the other side with a hip dip. And then the class was over. It like really, really flew by. I love Ben's personality. I love his music choices. Like I really enjoyed all of the like social extra parts of the class. And then I think that the programming was actually pretty good. And yeah, I like that we pushed weight at the beginning and then had some more body weight and core work at the end. For enjoyability, I would give this like an 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. I definitely see the benefit of doing this, and yeah, I feel like it was a good class. We got the work in. Difficulty, I would give this like a 7 out of 10. I didn't think it was like super, super difficult. And even though we didn't get a lot of recovery, I feel like we were using different muscles, even though we were so focused on like lower body and core. So it didn't feel like it was ever like too overwhelming. And then it's also only 20 minutes. We can do anything for 20 minutes. Then we went into the 10-minute stretch, and I'm not gonna lie, a 10-minute stretch does feel a little extra for a 20-minute strength class, but I loved it. I mean, this is just your typical Ben stretch. I just feel like he's really good at like getting everything stretched out. We do have a long time because it is 10 minutes, but I feel like he's very intentional, and I like this stretch because it's definitely focused on like what we did today in the class. So, you know, there was a lot of core stretches and a lot of leg stretches. We didn't do any like upper body stretching, but we didn't really need to because we didn't work it today. And my favorite stretch was probably child's pose. We held it for a full minute and it just felt so, so good. I like definitely need to stretch a lot. Ben is definitely a champion for stretching. So maybe he can get me into the habit this week, but I do love in a program when like the stretch is actually programmed, because I know I should motivate myself to stretch, but this really motivates me to stretch. So 10 out of 10 to the stretch, loved it, no notes. And that is a wrap on day one. And yeah, I thought today was a really good way to kick off the program. It is now the next day, and I'm not gonna lie, even with the stretch yesterday, my booty is a little sore. I am like still kind of coming off of arms with tune days where I basically did no leg work for 4 weeks. So even though yesterday wasn't anything crazy, I'm feeling it a little bit today, but I think we're all right. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday is kind of the best strength days for me in a week with just how my schedule pans out. So I am supposed to have a rest day between yesterday's classes and today's, but I think it's okay. You know what? We can do it. So today is class 3, which is a 20-minute full body strength class. The description is adding an upper body section and continue to focus on single leg work for the lower body, maintaining the focus of targeting core stability, posture, and endurance while strengthening key muscles. So I'm interested to see what is an upper body strength thing to do for cycling. I actually don't know. And yeah, another 20-minute class, I'm sure it will fly by. And then we have a nice class 4, which is the 10-minute stretch for cyclists. I believe it's a different one. He's at least doing a different pose in this one. I hope it's a different one. The description is establishing good habits in the second 10-minute full body stretch of this week, which will enhance mobility and flexibility, boost recovery, and expand your range of motion to be able to move with ease. So it should be a good day. I'm already looking forward to that 10-minute full body stretch at the end. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out class 3 and 4. I didn't absolutely hate this class, but I didn't love it either. In my opinion, pretty mediocre, but we got through it. We had a 3-minute bodyweight warm up. That was fine. We did some light core work here because besides the warm up, we didn't have any really dedicated core. So we did things like walkouts. We did some plank shoulder taps. So I am glad that we got at least a little bit of core in at the beginning. Then we went into our first set, which the set was 40 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Our first move was push-ups, which I get we have to do them, but not a good start to the set for me. And then we did split squats where we were in the split squat position and then went down and up fully. So not a pulse, which is kind of nice because I do think going up and down fully is easier than a pulse on one side. And then we did it on the other side. And that was our first set that we did twice. And yeah, we only ever got 10 seconds of recovery in between each move. Ben said to use heavy weights. I used 20 pounds, which I think was the appropriate weight. I think 25 would have been very hard. Honestly, I was thinking about 25 and then I heard 10 seconds recovery and I'm like, no thanks. I do think that the minimal recovery is not that bad because it is push-ups and then split squats on one side and then the other side. So you're never using the same muscles over and over again. But for me, this set was more unenjoyable just because I don't like push-ups and I don't really like split squats either. But, we got through it. I can appreciate that those are moves that, I need to practice. And I did most of the push-ups off my knees. So that's a big accomplishment for me. Then we had a 1-minute break and we went into the exact same format. So 40 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Doing it twice where we did push presses and then single leg dumbbell deadlifts on one side, single leg dumbbell deadlifts on the other side. And he said to use your medium weights. I used 15 pounds, which I feel it's fine. It might be a little bit light, but with the recovery situation, I feel 15 pounds was good. And yeah, I like this set more just because I like push presses and single leg deadlifts a lot more. So this was definitely more enjoyable. I really like single leg deadlifts, so those were even kind of fun. And again, the rest was not horrible because I did choose appropriate weights for the recovery time. And then you are, again, using completely different muscles. And during this whole class, Ben mentioned several times that there's this metabolic finisher at the end. And I'm oh, we're gonna do some AMRAP. We're gonna do I don't know, jump squats or something to really spike up the heart rate. And he kind of low-key hyped it up in my opinion. And then we got to it and he's oh yeah, we're basically just gonna do a mega set where we do all the moves that we already did, 40 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So literally exactly what we did, except we do each one once. So push-ups, split squats, push presses, and then the single leg deadlifts, and then the class is over. I'm not against repeating what we did in the class. I actually usually kind of like it because it's yeah, you already are locked into these moves, but I just thought it was funny that he kind of hyped it up and it's this is the surprise at the end. I don't feel it really spiked my heart rate because it was just the same exact thing that we did during the class, but whatever. And then the class was over. I will say these classes do really fly by. I mean, 20 minutes is so short, but especially when there's not a lot of recovery, like you're just like going, going, going. And I did like the deadlifts, and I do feel like these moves are good for cycling. I'm not that sure about like the upper body ones, but like you should work out your upper body too. So it's nice that there's some upper body work. But yeah, I don't know. This class was just fine, but kind of a throwaway for me. I would say enjoyability, maybe like a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. Honestly, the first set was very unenjoyable, but then the second set was like pretty enjoyable. So it's kind of like they're, going against each other. But that's just my like feelings about the moves in the set, not really the programming. Difficulty, I would give this like a 6 out of 10. I definitely was going later on the weights, but it's because you don't get a lot of recovery. So that's like what I struggle with classes like these, where it's like, I feel like we did get work in, but I could have pushed myself harder. But if I pushed myself harder, I would have been very unhappy with the amount of recovery. So yeah, I just feel like I haven't figured out how to optimize taking these kinds of classes. But overall, not a horrible class. I've definitely taken worse from him. And then we got into the 10-minute stretch, and man, oh man, I love the stretch. It was great. Another 10 out of 10. We did child's pose. We did downward dog. I'm realizing I just like yoga moves, but this one was different than yesterday's, which is nice. We hit some arm stretches, which was nice because we did arm workouts in the class. And yeah, I feel like the stretching is very intentional with the strength class that we do, which I like really, really appreciate, because I feel like a lot of programs don't have stretches. And if they do, it's like you're repeating the same stretch over and over again. So yeah, I really, really appreciate that Ben has taken the time to like make compatible stretches with the class, which I don't think is anything crazy, but it's really never been done before, I think, in any program that I've taken. So the stretch was a very, very nice finisher to the day, and I am ready for my rest day tomorrow. It is now 2 days later. We're feeling rested, we're feeling recovered, and we're feeling ready to wrap up this program. So today's classes are class 5, which is a 30-minute full body strength for cyclists class. We are amping up the length a little bit. The description is, this 30-minute full body strength session turns up the intensity with more sets, reps, and heavier weights. Push your limits while developing strength and endurance through control. And I love the idea of heavier weights. Hopefully it comes with appropriate recovery, but we'll see. 30 minutes is definitely like my preferred length for a strength class, though. I feel like 20 is a little short. And then always something to look forward to at the end. We have a 10-minute stretch for cyclists. It's class 6. The description is, consolidate all the hard work you've accomplished in this final 10-minute full body stretch of the program, reinforcing the importance of stretching and gaining access to wider ranges of mobility and flexibility. So that's always a nice little treat to look forward to at the end. I really have been loving the stretches, and like it is something I actually look forward to. So I'm like, I need to get into the habit of actually doing these. But yeah, today is looking like a nice, good day. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and wrap up Strength for Cyclists program. This is another class where I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, it's just kind of meh for me. Like, Ben is just definitely not my favorite strength instructor. The weirdest thing I thought about this class is that I thought the technique difficulty level was way higher than the last two classes. Like the last two classes I would say was good for any level. Like it's good for a beginner, it was pretty simple moves. Well, I feel like this class, like we really amped up the difficulty in moves, and like for what reason, I don't really know. I mean, I guess because it's the last class, but yeah, I feel like it's kind of a continuity issue because if you're gonna like have difficult moves, then you should just have it in all the classes and, you know, brand it as like an advanced program. Versus this one, yeah, I would like not recommend this program for beginners now, just based off this class. But we started off, we had a 3-minute body weight warm up, pretty typical warm up. We did like inchworms again. It honestly might have been like the same exact warm up as yesterday. And then we went into our lower body set, which was definitely my least favorite set of the class. So I was also worried when I did this set. I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad. But then the rest of the class I liked. So really, this is the worst part for me. And it was 40 seconds on, 10 seconds off, goblet squat with 1 dumbbell, reverse lunge on one side where we also brought our knee up, which I enjoyed that. That's kind of just like a little extra part of a reverse lunge. And then reverse lunge on the other side. And then we were supposed to finish with weighted jump squats. Now, I already hate jump squats, but weighted jump squats, I like really, really hate. There's just no way I'm gonna do them. I used 25 pounds for the goblet squat and the reverse lunge. And then for the squat jumps, he was like, you can do them unweighted. And I'm like, say less. And I'm also not gonna do jump squats. I'm just gonna come up on my toes. So that was almost kind of like an active recovery because like you're doing so much weighted work and then you have this like jump squat where I'm not doing the weights and I'm also like modifying the jump squat. But I feel like it worked in the context of this set because otherwise you get like absolutely no recovery, and like 25 pounds was a push for me on the other moves. So, you know, I pushed myself on some moves and then it kind of had an active recovery another move. I feel like I made the best of the situation because there's just like absolutely no way that I'm doing weighted jump squats. I mean, never say never, but I don't think I'll ever do them in my life. But we'll see, we'll see. Then we went into the upper body section, which I did like a lot more. A lot of like back moves. We started off and it was the same format, 40 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and we're doing all of these sets twice. We did push-ups, and then we did a bent over row, a high pull, and then a renegade row. You said to use mediums. I used 20 pounds for everything, which like, I feel like that was a good push weight with the amount of recovery. And yeah, I feel like 15 would have been really light for rows. Like usually if I'm lifting really heavy, I'll try to do like 25 or 30 for rows. So I like rows. I feel like no real complaints here. I like the moves. I mean, push-ups are the worst, but we got through them and we did many of them off our knees, which always feels good. Then we had our core section, which I love a dedicated core section, but I do not like weighted core, which we did. I will say for a weighted core section, this one wasn't that bad, but for me, I just feel like weighted core, there's a lot of potential for me to hurt myself by doing the moves incorrectly and like put strain on the wrong muscles. And I am not good enough at core that I need weighted core. Like I can do body weight core and it still feels like a very good workout. But I did do the weighted core. For these, I grabbed 12 pounds, which I feel like was the appropriate weight. Like I don't want to go super heavy. Again, we did 40 seconds on, 10 seconds off, did this twice. And we did a tuck up where we had 1 dumbbell. And then we basically were like in a whole body hold and then we tucked up. That was difficult. Like this is really where I feel like it started to get advanced moves. Then we did a dead bug where we just held both weights above us and just did like the dead bug for our legs. Then we had 1 dumbbell and we did a roll up. And then we finished with a bodyweight renegade row where you were supposed to like really hold your arm up for like a couple seconds. And we did that again. Like no real complaints. I could do it, but I did feel like this was kind of a difficult core section. Like technically it didn't feel that difficult because I did use a lighter weight. But yeah, I'm just like not a fan of weighted core. And then we finished off with a 4-minute EMOM. That was like a super, super reasonable EMOM. It almost might have been too reasonable. It was just 5 dumbbell thrusters and then 5 jump squats. For the dumbbell thrusters, I did use 20, which like is a push weight for me, but like we had a lot of recovery. He was saying like, oh, you should get like at least 15 seconds of recovery. I was getting like 40 seconds of recovery, and I even did the squat jumps normally. He said to do those unweighted, so I did do them unweighted, but like I did the jump squats. And like I feel like when you're doing jump squats, 5 jump squats you can do in like 10 seconds. And the dumbbell thrusters are also quite a fast move as well. So yeah, I was like flying through with this EMOM. But honestly, by the end, I was ready to have the break, and like I would much rather have an easier EMOM where I can push the weight and get a lot of recovery than a hard EMOM where I'm like working the entire minute and I'm just mad. So that was a good little finisher for the class. Overall, like it wasn't an unenjoyable class. There definitely were moves I didn't like, but I kind of knew what to expect going in. I feel like I picked appropriate weights. I feel like we got a good workout in. I would say like 6 out of 10. Nothing crazy, but not super unenjoyable. For difficulty, I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I do feel like I just modified and like went down in weights when I wanted to. So I definitely could have pushed myself harder, but I feel like in the context of the class, I got out of it like the most I could get out of it. It definitely could be more difficult. It just kind of like depends what you want out of the class and like what you want to focus on. And then we had the last 10-minute full body stretch. Again, 10 out of 10. Loved it. Felt good. I was surprised because we didn't do a lot of like arm stretching, even though we had an arm block. But yeah, I feel like it was a good stretch. I liked it. I like that they're all different. And really, no complaints. I'm never going to complain about a 10-minute full body stretch. So that is the program. I feel like it's pretty obvious. I don't think I'll ever retake this. I honestly don't know who this is aimed at. I mean, I guess cyclists. So if you are cycling a lot, maybe you could see a lot of benefit. But I feel like I would just do a normal split. Like, I don't think that this specifically like would give you a ton more gains in cycling over just normal strength training, unless if you really like Ben. I do think that it's nice that there is like 20 minutes of strength and then a 10-minute stretch on the first 2 days. So if you're looking for something a little more condensed, I do really like that the stretch is included in the program and they're all different, because yeah, I don't think that is true about any other class that I've taken. Like usually the stretches are repeated. So yeah, I feel like he definitely put a lot of thought into this. And also Ben just like churns out these strength programs like there is no tomorrow. It is quite amazing. But I don't feel like this was like anything that was mind-blowing that I would gravitate towards taking again. But let me know what you think if you've tried it out. I like would be curious what Ben's numbers are. Like, do people just take his strength programs so much more than everyone else that he is producing so many more strength programs than everyone else? It's like very odd to me. I'm just like so nosy. I would love some numbers. Like on this past stretch class, it says only 1,000 people have taken it, which is like not a lot compared to some classes that I've seen from Rebecca and Andy. But yeah, I have like no clue. I would just be so curious. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.